This morning, an exclusive interview with Tim Walz. We'll have the vice presidential nominee's plan to win over the Midwest.
Plus, Madison joins national recognition of White Cane Day, what it is and what it means for residents. Happy Tuesday, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Now This Morning. I'm Kyrie Lee.
I'm Chris Stanford. Appreciate you tuning in here on a Tuesday. It's a chilly start.
Yeah, and I know we have talked about this morning about some of the birds migrating down south, and I'm like, well, too bad we just can't, up and do that because we have livelihoods and jobs and such.
Right. And how cold does it have to be somewhere else for them to come here this morning? Because it's chilly out here.
Yeah.
How is this a relief for anything coming in,
I guess you'd have to be in the mind of the bird, but...
I know, I guess. All right, let's check in with Savannah Brito. She's out on the patio where we are, down in the lower 40s this morning.
We're actually down to the
really
mid-30s, upper 30s. There are a few lower 40s, though. That's mainly just over areas that are seeing more cloud cover and then even some chances for rain. So east of Madison, Milwaukee, still holding on to the 40s. But we're as low as 35 in Madison, 37 in Middleton, and 36 in Wanakee. Outside of that, like I mentioned, a few warmer areas that's mainly east of here, 41 in Milwaukee, 42, though, in Kenosha, 41 in Sheboygan. And those are the areas that could see some spotty showers through about lunchtime, but there are areas that are close to freezing level. Camp Douglas is at 32. That is freezing level. They did fall to 30 this morning. Frost is likely at least tonight into tomorrow morning. It's possible as early as this morning. Don't see any on the ground or leaves right now anyways. Temperatures aren't quite cool enough. They're still close to freezing level, but I think to the northwest, that's where we could see any of that early. Highs in the 50s through Wednesday, and then we'll actually start to see some warmer temperatures. We'll be back to the 70s. How about that by the weekend? We just have to get through the frost and the freezing, literally freezing level temperatures we're going to see tonight. We'll talk about how cold wind chills will feel factored in, though, tomorrow morning, guys.
All right. Sounds like a plan. 6:01 here on your Tuesday. With the election now 3 weeks away, Democrats are doubling down on securing those so-called blue wall states.
Most recently, vice presidential nominee Tim Walz visited Eau Claire and Green Bay. From camo Walz hats to shots of the nominee walking his dog, Democrats are leaning into the Midwestern governor's roots. But Walz isn't the only Midwesterner on the ballot. During an interview with Walz, News 3 Now asked how he plans to take on Ohio Senator J.D. Vance.
How do you win the Midwest there?
Look, I come from this area. Kamala Harris grew up in a middle-class family. I think we're making the case middle-class families, whether they're in the Midwest or the Southeast, the Northeast, or the West, they care about things like health care. They don't want to see Donald Trump repeal the Affordable Care Act. They care about personal decisions, like your own personal reproductive decisions.
You can head to channel3000.com to see more of our exclusive interview with Governor Walz.
The Trump campaign responding to Walz's visit, saying in part the Harris-Walz team is floundering, offering no real plan for how to address the top concerns of hardworking Wisconsinites. The Trump campaign does not have any planned stops in the state this week. Meantime, Vice President Kamala Harris will return to the battleground state this week. The presidential candidate is expected to speak in Milwaukee, La Crosse, and Green Bay on Thursday. Details of exactly when and where she'll be are not yet released. This would be her 6th visit to the state since becoming the nominee.
President Biden is calling for more disaster aid to address damage from Hurricanes Milton and Helene. It comes after he announced hundreds of millions of dollars in aid for affected areas during a visit to St. Pete Beach. While thanking local officials, first responders, and healthcare workers, Biden also said there's more to do and Congress should return to work early to approve more funding for FEMA. But GOP House Speaker Mike Johnson says that won't happen.
The states have to assess and calculate the actual needs, and then they submit to Congress that request. As soon as that is done, Congress will meet, and in bipartisan fashion, we will address those needs. We'll provide the additional resources, but it would be premature to call everyone back now because these storms are so large in their scope and magnitude. It's going to take a little bit of time to make those calculations.
Congress isn't scheduled to be back in session until after the election.
Meanwhile, FEMA is returning to work. This is after pausing aid in several impacted areas in North Carolina because of threats to its employees. Local law enforcement arrested someone for allegedly making threats of harm against workers. That person is now free on a $10,000 bond. It comes amid a backdrop of misinformation about storm response.
All this comes as many Florida residents are struggling to sift through the debris left behind. Many still without power, and fuel shortages continue to impact several areas. Susan Parlow of Lemon Bay returned to devastation inside her home. A water line stamped about 3 feet high.
Life and soul. My husband built all the cabinets inside. They were all destroyed.
Despite all the destruction, she considers herself lucky because she knows it could have been much worse.
So an analysis of Hurricane Helene found that climate change increased the storm's rainfall by about 10%. And instead of occurring every 130 years, storms like Helene are now expected every 53. Scientists also say that extremely warm weather in the Gulf of Mexico caused Milton to go from a Category 1 to a 5 in less than a day. They say climate change made those warm water temperatures 400 to 800 times more likely.
And with the frequency of severe weather events, experts say now may be a good time to check your insurance policy. Analysts put the number of losses from both hurricanes in the tens of billions, but uninsured losses could tally billions more. Many residents in the mountains of western North Carolina did not carry flood insurance. The Insurance Information Institute says Helene's catastrophic aftermath serves as a reminder for everyone to review their homeowner policy.
Your standard property insurance policy does not cover flood. That's why you need to have separate coverage. And that's true nationally. No matter where you live in the country, you need to own your risk, meaning you need to understand the potential hazards you might face in your community.
Experts say for those who live in non-coastal areas, the cost of flood insurance is extremely reasonable. On average, it can cost $40 to $50 a month in addition to your standard policy premium.
6:06, the city of Madison joining the nation today in marking October 15th as National White Cane Safety Day.
White Cane Safety Day has been recognized nationally since 1964. Our Michelle Renee Quinn is here to tell us what it's all about. Good morning.
Good morning. That's right. White Cane Safety Day promotes safe and welcoming communities for people with vision loss or blindness. By promoting the awareness of people walking with a white cane or guide dog, this day also brings awareness to Wisconsin's white cane law. That states that drivers need to stop 10 feet before a pedestrian who's carrying a white cane or walking stick. And it can be trimmed with red, or if there's a guide dog, the law states to take precautions as necessary to avoid accident or injury to the pedestrian. The penalty for violating this law is between $25 and $200. Now, according to the National Federation of the Blind, in Wisconsin, over 110,000 people report a visual disability.
Boy, a good reminder that we do share the road with other people. It's not just for us. It's easy to think that, oh, well, I'm on my way here. I'm the most important thing on the road, but we do share it with so many people, and especially important to watch out for those
Always
who
keep
need
an
extra
eye out for
attention.
pedestrians.
All right. Michelle Renee, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
All right, well, folks, you got 2 weeks left. Kyrian, I want you to listen up to this because you have not been to the Terrace yet.
Wait, I have, though.
Oh, you have been to the Terrace. That's right.
Yes, a few weeks ago.
I forgot about that. So if you're looking to get there one more time, you got 2 weeks left to enjoy those sunburst chairs out of the Memorial Union. So Wisconsin Union says it plans to move the chairs into storage on October 28th. That date could change based on factors like staffing. Each year, the union welcomes about 1 million people to the Terrace. It opened for the 2024 season on April 17th.
I felt like 1 million people were out there the day that we did go because it's such a popular place.
Oh, yeah. You definitely don't have the place to yourself, hardly ever.
No, but it was nice. I'll have to get out there one more time. Well, we're taking you to a family whose cattle and grain farm has stood since the 1800s. Our Meryl Hubbard tells us what it means to see their legacy last through generations of hard work.
Out here in Mineral Point, 800 acres of this land have stayed in the White family farm for 6 generations. And now we're meeting the 7th generation destined to take it over.
All right, we'll take some slabs. It's pretty rewarding to be able to pass the knowledge down.
Kirk White has grown up on the farm for the past 26 years, working alongside his dad as the 6th generation to take over the family business.
He's taught me everything I know, going from mechanic work to field operation, to cattle working, to vaccinations, everything.
Kirk knows from his father that this is not a job that offers breaks.
Your cattle works year round. That's nonstop, 100%.
But there may be more helping hands soon. Kirk and his wife have 3 boys, and Bentley and Brantley are already racing to the challenge.
I don't have to push anything on them. If they want to come up to the farm, they're more than welcome to come up and ride in a tractor, ride in the combine, help fence around the buildings.
Kirk's wife, Elizabeth, has been documenting her son's excitement for farming.
Like the first time we took him on a combine, I can still remember this, like what he looked like his face. He was only 6 months, but he's just like looking around.
Learning how to manage chores has given their sons a greater understanding of what it means to work hands-on.
You don't just go to the store and buy Cheerios. It's like the process behind it, and like it all starts from hard work.
Plus, they found a competitive spirit to keep the farm extra fun.
Buy more better.
You are a good farmer.
Though it'll take at least another 15 years to tell, it looks like the White family farm has a promising future.
It's pretty rewarding that they want to keep coming up here and doing what me and my father do. It is important to keep this world going.
Reporting in Mineral Point, Meryl Hubbard, News 3 Now.
I love how they're keeping it going through the generations, because I know I've done some stories where, like, you know, farming, like, people are like losing it after a certain generation.
I know.
So to see that they're getting their kids involved is amazing.
You know, driving around in those little tractors.
You gotta love
helping out mom and dad.
Farm life.
Love to see that. You know, keep that farm going for generations to come.
Well, let's check in now with Savannah. What's coming up?
Guys, temperatures are cool this morning, but they're going to drop a lot between tonight into early Wednesday. Even so, we have a freeze warning in place. We'll talk about when that will be in effect.
And I'm in the 608 with an update to our Coats for Kids campaign. The latest numbers just coming in and what comes next for distribution.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning, brought to you by Toyota.
Dear road rivals, no truck on the road drives value like the Tundra. Day after day, mile after mile, it all adds up to big savings under the hood. What's under yours? Toyota Tundra.
Right now, lease a new Tundra for $479 a month or get 3.99% APR for 72 months on a new Tundra. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Since Gruber Law Offices started in the 80s, we've been cheering on the true champions of Milwaukee, you and yours. We've helped thousands of injured victims get the compensation they deserve, celebrated our sports teams through ups and downs, and connected in the community by working together to make things better. We've been on this path together for 35 plus years. Our slogan says it all. Let's keep rising together.
Kamala Harris is going to significantly raise taxes.
Taxes are going to have to go up?
Kamala's plan will raise families' taxes by nearly $2,600 a year. Under Kamala, prices have already soared. Now she'd make it worse with even higher taxes.
Taxes are going to have to go up?
President Trump will cut taxes again. No taxes on tips, overtime, or Social Security.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
When my husband got throat cancer, it wasn't just a health crisis. It was a financial one for my family. And that's something rural families know all too well. Joan Ballwig voted against expanding affordable health care for rural families and against bringing drug costs down. And that's one reason I decided to run against her. I'm Sarah Kieski, and I'm running for state senate. Because when someone you love needs medical care, the last thing you should have to worry about is how to pay for it.
Billionaire banker Eric Hovde has a plan for Social Security.
Do you favor either raising the retirement age or cutting benefits?
I favor both.
Raising the retirement age?
You have to start changing the retirement age.
Hovde wants to raise the retirement age as high as 72. And Hovde just proposed cutting Social Security by 28%, costing the average beneficiary more than $6,000 a year. Eric Hovde, What's wrong with this guy?
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
You've got this. Your big moment on their big day. The dress? Another one you'll never wear. Gift? Practical. Yeah, you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with early pay on direct deposits. So when you get invited to your third destination wedding in as many months, we'll be there with you.
When we first met Todd, we thought Jen was kidding.
You've got this with Associated Bank.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
In the 608 this morning, we have an update on our Coats for Kids drive as we tabulate all the donations from all of you viewers.
That's right. Josh Ryder is here in the studio now with what comes next. Josh, good morning.
Hey, we knew the cold was going to come, right? Now we do need those coats. So first off, we want to thank everyone who contributed to this year's Coats for Kids collection. We now know that weather can change from summer to winter in an instant, right? And when it does, we want to make sure everyone has that warm coat in their closet. Although we haven't received our grand total from this campaign yet, our current tally from all of the Clinky Cleaners locations stands at 2,918. That includes an additional 115 coats purchased on our Amazon wish list. We still have tabulations pending though and hope to announce our final grand total for this year's campaign on distribution day next Friday, October 25th. So for those who need a warm coat to wear this winter, this is happening from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. on the 25th at the following Boys and Girls Clubs locations: the Allied Family Center in Fitchburg, along with the Erica and Anthony Fleming Boys and Girls Club in Madison, along with the Mackenzie Family Boys and Girls Club in Sun Prairie. If you are interested in lending a helping hand on distribution day next Friday, the Boys and Girls Club would be happy to have you. You can sign up for a shift right now. I have the contact information for volunteers along with all of this other info up right now on channel3000.com. So this was our 39th year for Coats for Kids. Over the last almost 4 decades now, we've collected more than 355,000 donations from you at home. So we want to once again thank our sponsors, Clinky Cleaners, the Boys and Girls Clubs of Dane County, and Magic 98 for making this yet another successful year. And hopefully those numbers are just going to go up with those final tabulations. We always know there's kind of those stragglers that just come in at the last second. So, but seriously, to think about all those thousands of donations that we got, pretty cool.
It is. It's incredible.
It is.
It never surprises me, the generosity of our community. And between now and then, yeah, it's like, there's usually a local business, wink, wink, somebody that steps up to the plate and gets us over the finish line. It's just a remarkable year again,
Well,
Josh.
and you guys know too, like when you get a coat for your kid and how they light up, especially when it's like that perfect color that they want. Like that's what it's like at distribution day for a lot of these families that didn't know if their child was going to be able to have a coat this winter when it's like 35 below or whatever it's going to be. So it's a really, really special time. So if you can make a difference, now's the time to do it.
Yes, it's going to benefit so many kids in our community, and our goal is 5,000. So hopefully that number, like you said, will just...
You never know. Wink, wink.
Thanks, Josh.
You bet.
Josh is always looking for inspiration to share with you folks. If you have an idea for In the 608, reach out and let him know about it.
Well, let's check in now with meteorologist Savannah Brito, who's here now with your first warn weather. Those temperatures definitely dropped on us.
Yeah, they're gonna continue to drop. I think maybe a degree or two, but still not as cool as what we're forecasting for tomorrow morning. We sit at 35 currently, so most of Dane County and southern Wisconsin, couple of upper 30s, but there's also a couple of areas that are very close to freezing level early this morning. That's mainly northwest of here, up near Black River Falls, Camp Douglas, the Dells. Will only warm to 50 today. That's the forecast high in Madison with the right amount of sunshine, but it's going to stay breezy all day. So wind chills, those are going to be factored in until about 1 to 2 p.m. There will be a couple hours where we won't have a wind chill, but winds are going to gust up to about 20 to 25 miles per hour, and then shortly after 5 p.m. temperature is going to drop and wind chills get factored in again. A couple areas are probably going to struggle to even make it out of those upper 40s this afternoon. I think we'll see partly sunny skies. Any chances for rain, that's going to be west of Madison, west of or east of Madison, and east of even Waukesha, Milwaukee, Kenosha, Sheboygan. Those areas could see a couple of showers, spotty, and maybe even a couple pockets of heavier rain. You can see the yellows on radar. As we head closer to lunchtime, that gets pushed even further east over Lake Michigan. So I think Madison and definitely areas west staying dry for the most part. Just areas east, far east of Madison could see a couple couple spotty showers through the day. We dry out then, but temperatures fall a lot. You could see all those purples there, especially most of Madison's coverage area. The places just to our northwest that don't see that purple color included, that's because they already have had a few of those freeze warnings get put in place. For us, for the most part across southern Wisconsin, at least the rest of it, we haven't seen that yet. That'll be in effect 1 to 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. And air temperatures, those are going to drop under freezing level. We'll be looking at probably the upper 20s. But with the wind chill factored in, it's going to feel much cooler out there, probably about another 10 degrees or so. So wind chills waking up early tomorrow morning. Those are going to be down to probably the teens or at least the lower 20s. So a chilly start tomorrow.
Whew, lower 20s. I came in without a hood or hat on this morning, but might need to change that tomorrow.
Yeah, but we got the 70s this weekend, so.
Yes, looking forward to that, Savannah. Thank you. Well, still ahead, a piece of TV history fetches big bucks at auction, and NASA's next big mission is off to a world far, far away.
We're back right after this.
The Packers take on the Texans Sunday at noon.
We know we cannot have a strong middle class without American manufacturing. Under Donald Trump, America lost nearly 200,000 manufacturing jobs. His record is a disaster for working people. Under my plan, we will invest in the industries that built America, because ours is a fight for the future. I come from the middle class, and I will never forget where I come from.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Sometimes the smallest cracks can cause the biggest chills. And something sinister is lurking in the shadows.
What was that?
To survive, they must seal their fate.
It's not working.
With Feldco.
50% off Windows ends soon. Come now.
This fall, watch out for The Draft.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
Rewards Club members at Ho Chunk Gaming Madison can get a ticket for a promotional drawing by visiting the Rewards Club booth. Promotional drawings can be either physical or virtual tickets. Physical tickets will be placed in a drawing barrel, while virtual tickets can be redeemed at a promotional kiosk. Visit Ho Chunk Gaming Madison and grab your tickets at the Rewards Club booth today.
Ho Chunk Gaming Madison.
Who is she talking to?
My name is Jack Frank. I'm a retired paper mill worker in the valley here, and I work for Copeland Bus part-time on the side. I've had my own route now here for the last 3-4 years, and the kids on it are great. Flexible hours, they work with you in many different ways. If you've got something going, they accommodate you, or they try to get somebody to run your route. Copeland treats you decent. All the years I worked here. It's a great place to work.
4 years ago, rioters set this Minneapolis police station on fire, trying to burn me and my fellow police officers alive. Governor Tim Walz left us for dead. And Kamala Harris?
This is a movement, I'm telling you. Everyone beware. They're not going to let up, and they should not.
She raised millions to help bail rioters out of jail and supported defunding the police. Kamala sold cops out and put families at risk. Kamala Harris is too weak and too dangerous to be president.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Fentanyl is one of the most lethal drugs on the market. This much can kill thousands. These deadly drugs are pouring across our border. But Biden, Harris, and Democrats have done nothing to stop it. Tammy Baldwin claims she's trying, but she's failed. She took credit for an anti-fentanyl bill she didn't write and opposed efforts to secure the border. Senator Baldwin and Democrats have done nothing, and our communities are paying the price.
I'm Eric Hovde. I approve this message.
He murdered a father of 3, sentenced to life in prison. Kamala Harris pushed to use tax dollars to pay for his sex change.
I made sure that they changed the policy so that every transgender inmate would have access.
It sounds insane because it is insane. Kamala was the first to help pay for a prisoner's sex change.
The power that I had, I used it in a way that was about pushing for the movement, frankly, and the agenda.
Kamala's agenda is they, them, not you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Time now 6:24 on your Tuesday. Here's a look at a photo from Mark. He says this is A photo from near Broadhead. He says, nice clouds here.
I'm just paying attention to that bare tree.
Where'd the leaves go?
Oh my gosh.
Did you notice that
early.
wind took a lot down the last few days?
Yeah, really did.
Over Sunday and Sunday night.
Can't just barely holding on, not even get to enjoy the trees.
Thanks, Mark. Trending this morning, the throne from Game of Thrones has a new home. A fan bought the piece of TV history for nearly $1.5 million. The auction says that the throne sold after a fierce back and forth between bidders. Other items auctioned off include the sword used by Jon Snow and several outfits. Game of Thrones, of course, ran on HBO for 8 seasons from 2011 to 2019.
I never got into Game of Thrones.
Never watched it.
Is there like a specific piece of memorabilia from one of your favorite shows that you'd like love though? Like if you could have anything, is there anything that you'd want?
I was always obsessed with the Ram pickup truck from Twister. So whenever I saw red.
There you go.
That's a good one.
Hey, did you see this? NASA's latest probe is flying through space this morning. It's on a 1.8 billion-mile journey to Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. NASA says it's one of the most promising places to look for habitable conditions in our solar system. It's going to get there in 2030, which sounds like way off into the future, but it's only 6 years away.
Wow.
2030.
That'll be here before we know
wild?
it.
I saw a meme that said 1980 will be 50 years ago once you get to
That's crazy.
Wow.
That is...
Where's the time going?
Yeah. Also, what's crazy is how lower temperatures are going to fall overnight. We'll talk about that freeze warning that's in place.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Prices are up, wages are down. Inflation is crushing Wisconsin families. Yet Sarah Kieski, she supports lifting revenue limits, allowing property tax rates to skyrocket unchecked. Even more radical, Kieski's backers want to ban natural gas to heat our homes, driving utility bills through the roof. Tax hikes and higher prices for families and those living on fixed incomes. That's Kieski's record. Expensive and extreme. Reject Sarah Kieski and her radical agenda.
Here's the secret worth sharing. Robertson, Wisconsin's aesthetic leader, has nurses that specialize in custom treatment plans. Always natural, never overfilled. Time to learn how aging is different at Robertson.
When my husband got throat cancer, it wasn't just a health crisis. It was a financial one for my family. And that's something rural families know all too well. Joan Ballwig voted against expanding affordable health care for rural families and against bringing drug costs down. And that's one reason I decided to run against her. I'm Sarah Kieski and I'm running for state senate. Because when someone you love needs medical care, the last thing you should have to worry about is how to pay for it.
It's our Fall Into Savings sale at Tundraland. We are offering free installation on the bath or shower of your dreams. Plus, no payments, no money down, and no interest for an entire year. Tundraland.com.
The kindness, the efficiency, the respect was amazing.
From start to finish, they will take care of you.
Everybody is just so kind and everybody's so cheerful. I just never worked with a company where everybody seems to get along and they're all happy to be working for Cardinal.
Cardinal is the place to go for any type of work that you need done around your home.
I never hesitate with family, friends, neighbors to recommend Cardinal, and nobody has come back to me and said I was wrong.
Get cozy in Door County with a stay at Open Hearth Lodge. Find relaxation in our King Whirlpool rooms, or enjoy time with your family in one of our dog-friendly suites. At Open Hearth Lodge, stay active with our exercise facility and start your day with a continental breakfast. Enjoy our indoor pool and hot tub and share stories around one of our outdoor fire pits. Open Hearth Lodge, a Door County getaway with all the comforts of home.
You're tuned in to Better Halves. Mike, what are you looking for?
Skip, I'm not getting older. I'm getting better. I still got big plans for my life and my Medicare.
I know exactly what you want from Medicare. Same as all the other guys. Me!
Hey, Mike, I'm Sheila from Security, and I'm just like you. In fact, I'm from your neighborhood, and I've got a Medicare plan that treats you like you.
Did it just get better in here?
This morning, the First Lady in Madison, her message to mobilize volunteers.
Plus, new data on voter registration numbers in Wisconsin, how it compares to the last presidential election.
Good Tuesday morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in here to News 3 Now this morning. I'm Chris Stanford.
And I'm Kyrie Unley. Thanks for waking up with us this morning. I think I'm going to do a poll on my Facebook today just to see how many people actually cracked and turned on the heat over these past couple of nights.
No shame. No shame in turning on the heat.
No, I'll let it run. Let it burn.
You know, you pinch those pennies somewhere else.
Yeah.
You turn that heat on.
Yes, and it felt mighty good. Just under the blankets, heat running.
Yeah.
It felt good to me.
Yeah, it's one of those mornings where it will feel really good because we got a really chilly start out there this morning where Savannah Brito is hanging out on the patio. We're down into the 30s, huh?
Yeah, we're down to the 30s. Some of us actually close to freezing level. Most of us will be there, though, tomorrow morning. We're currently still at 35. Notice the wind speeds are out of the north at 9 miles per hour. Those will pick up, so it will be breezy. And we actually will have a wind chill factored in most of the day, I think between 2 and 4 p.m. That won't be the case, but outside of those hours and when we achieve our daytime highs late this afternoon, we will have that factored in the rest of the time. And those are cool this morning. Some of those are down to the mid, even lower 20s. That'll be more widespread across southern Wisconsin tomorrow. 44 at 10 a.m. and then 12 p.m. the lunchtime hour. Temperatures still only in those upper 40s. So some of us are actually going to struggle to even reach that 50-degree mark. I do think we'll see that, especially given the right amount of sunshine that we'll see in Madison today. In effect, though, is a freeze warning 1 to 9 a.m. Wednesday morning. Air temperatures, those will fall below freezing level, but it's the wind chills that we're going to see tomorrow morning that are going to feel very cold. We're talking about levels we haven't seen in several months. I'll have how low those are going to go coming up in just a little bit, guys.
All right, Savannah, thank you. To our 3 for the People coverage now. It is 3 weeks until Election Day, and campaigns continue to make the rounds across the state.
First Lady Jill Biden made a stop on Madison's west side to campaign for Vice President Kamala Harris. The First Lady met with campaign volunteers. Her focus is to get volunteers talking directly to voters. They say they aim to rally voters around galvanizing issues like abortion.
It wasn't until after college when I started having conversations with people who I really respected, like my friends and neighbors, that I began to reevaluate what I thought I believed.
We have to meet this moment as if our rights are at stake, because they are.
This is Jill Biden's third visit to Wisconsin in 2024. It's her first since President Joe Biden exited the presidential race.
Meanwhile, Donald Trump is headed to the Midwest today. He'll take part in an interview with Bloomberg News in Chicago. Then he'll hold a rally in Atlanta. His visits today are expected to focus on the economy and inflation. Campaign surrogates will visit Nevada and North Carolina. Trump spent yesterday in Pennsylvania. During a town hall, he spoke about the economy and immigration.
The deadline for online and mail voter registration is fast approaching. Officials say registration is slightly down from this time 4 years ago. As of October 1st, Wisconsin has more than 3.5 million registered voters. There are 28,000 fewer registered voters compared to this time 4 years ago. In Dane County, there are over 390,000 registered voters as of October 1st, and that's down just 500 from this point 4 years ago. The last day to register to vote online and by mail is tomorrow. You can still register when you vote in person. That can be during early voting, which starts next Tuesday, or on Election Day.
To the conflict in the Middle East this morning, Hezbollah is threatening Israel with more attacks. It comes after the Pentagon's announcement that it would send American troops to Israel. They're also bringing a new missile defense system. Tensions in the Middle East continue to escalate as Hezbollah militants in Lebanon launched a deadly drone attack Sunday, killing 4 Israeli soldiers and wounding several dozen more. The latest round of threats triggered air raid sirens. Listen to this CBS reporter on the ground describe the scene.
We've just gotten the air raid alert. You can see we're right outside of the Galani Air Base. We're here right now with all of these other Israeli soldiers. We're about 65 miles from the border with Lebanon.
The State Department is strongly encouraging U.S. citizens to leave Lebanon. It's due to what they describe as a volatile and unpredictable security situation. 6:34 now. A new way of calling 911 is coming soon, and in fact, it might be on your phone right now.
A tech company called Prepared is partnering with Apple to include 911 video calls. The partnership began last month. Delaware County in Pennsylvania is among 1,000 areas trialing the new setup. The new addition would also use artificial intelligence to transcribe, summarize, and even translate calls.
I can see what they're seeing. I'm looking for certain things in the call: location, buildings, subjects, descriptions. It's like me watching it. So it's like me reporting it firsthand. It gives me tools. It helps me help the public that I'm serving in a better capacity. It makes me a better call taker.
For now, video 911 calls are only available if your local call center uses the software from Prepared. But the company says more than 98 million people across the country already have the capability through their call centers.
New federal data shows overdose deaths in the U.S. are at their lowest level they've been in 3 years. They include instances involving fentanyl and other synthetic opioids. The deaths are down 20% year over year. A study from Ohio State looking into the use of overdose reversal substances between 2020 and 2022. Everyday people's use of naloxone during overdose increased by more than 43%.
A lay person having this in their hands can actually save someone from an opioid overdose. So trying to get this into the hands of people who can use it to save a life is critically important.
Health experts say naloxone can quickly restore normal breathing to a person who has had an opioid overdose. It will not have an effect on someone who does not have opioids in their system. So experts say it's okay to give the medicine if someone suspects an overdose has happened.
A new analysis says due to the ongoing worker strike, Boeing is short nearly $5 billion in the last month. 33 million employees walked off the job a month ago. They've left all the airplanes at the Washington State facility untouched. Airlines are also seeing the effects. Analysis shows Boeing's airline customers lost $285 million during the strike. Talks between Boeing and the striking workers broke off last week. That's after 2 days of federally mediated negotiating.
A Madison-based art organization is exhibiting its work in Milwaukee this week. Arts for All Wisconsin will see its work featured at the Arts Hotel. The exhibition is called The Art of Family. It features works from 30 artists who are all connected to disability-focused Arts for All Wisconsin. Fred Seeger is a Madison artist who says creating art is therapy for him and others in the group.
Leaves me with a real sense of peace because it's the language that I speak. Having some disabilities, you know, that create anxiety, and certainly the PTSD is, you know, always there. So it's a way for me to escape and just go into a world and a gift that was given to me. You know, that is something that I just don't want to waste.
If you're interested in attending, there will be a free reception this Friday night starting at 7 o'clock.
Happening today is something that should appeal to most Wisconsinites. It's National Cheese Curd Day. The salty deep fried snack started in America's Dairyland, of course, and the founders of National Cheese Curd Day are unsurprisingly Culvers. They're now out with some curd varieties for the big day. They include the brand new hot honey cheese curds and, of course, the Curder Burger. Have you guys actually tried the Curder Burger?
No.
We did a competition a couple years ago when it was out for Cheese Curd Month or whatever it was, when they to see who could eat it, who could eat the most in 60 seconds.
And who won that competition?
Shane Hogan did.
Okay.
I can see that.
I came close, but it's a lot of burger.
Yeah.
It sure is.
The whole patty, and then you have the whole patty.
The whole cheese curd
Yeah.
patty. It's available for, a limited time during the month.
I need to get those hot honey ones. Those sound really good.
It does sound good, but you know, Chris said he's here for the originals.
You know, I like stuff that tastes like what it's supposed. Coffee flavored coffee, beer flavored beer, cheese flavored cheese curds. Is there anything wrong with the originals?
No, they're great.
I
just
cannot
love
say
hot
that.
honey,
Right.
so
I'll get
I
off
gotta
my
try those.
curmudgeon box.
There we go.
Well, it's not hot, it's our weather, at least for the time being. That's going to be very cold. We have temperatures that are down to the mid-30s. That's still not as bad as tomorrow morning. We'll talk about those temps coming up.
All right, coming up after the break, look at the impact of Dane County's Smart Trips Challenge.
And I'm in the 608 this morning with an update on our Coats for Kids campaign. The latest numbers just coming in and what comes next for distribution.
Out of money, I know. 20 of you and you're rich as hell.
I am not rich as hell. I work hard, I scrape to get by. Donald Trump wants to give tax breaks to billionaires, but Kamala Harris has plans to help us. She's going to crack down on price gouging and cut taxes for working people like me. I voted for Donald Trump before, but this time I'm voting for Kamala.
FFPAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
Shop the largest selection of Chevy trucks and SUVs in Wisconsin at Bergstrom Chevrolet. Lease a new Silverado 1500 starting at $355 a month, or a 24 Equinox EV starting at $299 a month. Stop in or shop and purchase at BergstromMadison.com.
Announcing the winners of Madison Magazine's Best of Madison Readers Poll for 2024. Congratulations to Cardinal Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, Electric for winning 3 golds and a silver in the home and lifestyle category, including Best Heating and Cooling. Visit MadisonMagazine.com.
Kamala Harris is going to significantly raise taxes.
Taxes are going to have to go up?
Kamala's plan will raise families' taxes by nearly $2,600 a year. Under Kamala, prices have already soared. Now she'd make it worse with even higher taxes.
Taxes are going to have to go up?
President Trump will cut taxes again. No taxes on tips, overtime, or Social Security.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
4 years ago, in this alley, rioters threw a brick at my face and knocked out my teeth. Why? Because I was a police officer. And what did Kamala Harris do? While America's cities were burning, Kamala was defending peaceful protest. She raised millions to help bail rioters out of jail and supported defunding our police, making us all less safe. Kamala Harris is dangerous.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Rich, indulgent chocolate with a luscious caramel filling. Discover Ghirardelli Caramel Squares in a bag and a bar. Makes life a bite better.
We hold the most powerful tool to make democracy work for Black Americans, and that's our vote. Registering to vote takes less than 10 minutes. Help protect democracy. Go to myvote.wisconsin.gov to check your voter registration status. In-person absentee voting begins Tuesday, October 22nd. City of Beloit buses will provide free rides on Election Day. Let's be all in and vote on November 5th.
These Baldwin ads are nasty.
I can't stand them.
She never tells the truth. Now she says Eric Hovde wants to raise the retirement age.
That's malarkey.
I saw in the news Social Security will be going bankrupt in 8 years.
Are you kidding? We need Social Security.
You're surprised? Washington spends money like crazy.
And Baldwin supports all of it.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
You better get a job.
You get a job.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
We're back at 6:42 on your Tuesday. Today, the Wisconsin Department of Transportation is closing 2 Milwaukee area park-in rides. The locations are where people have been living in tents, trailers, and cars. Police say there have been several violent incidents at these locations in recent weeks. This includes assaults, gunshots, and drug overdoses. Police responded to a fight in August, which a bystander caught on camera. And as mentioned, those closures will begin today.
Well, new this morning, we have the results of a local challenge to drive less.
It's called the Dane County Round Trip Smart Trips Challenge. And our Michelle Renee Quinn recently showed you how the last challenge saved dumpsters worth of emissions burned. She's here now with an update. Good morning.
Good morning. That's right. For the month of September, Round Trip challenged Dane County residents to replace their usual driving trips with more sustainable options. So last month, for the second annual challenge, they logged nearly 5,500 car-free trips. That collectively prevents over 10.3 tons of carbon dioxide emissions. To put that into perspective, it's the equivalent of growing 12 acres of U.S. forests for an entire year.
And so what else did organizers find out about this challenge here?
Well, it turns out that people who participated in this challenge saved up to $7,000 just by reducing fuel and vehicle mechanical costs, you know.
Yeah, which, you know, there's a lot of wear and tear if you drive back and forth often.
Oh,
so.
yeah, I put a lot of money into my car, so I know.
You know firsthand how it goes.
Yes.
Did you do any biking to work?
You know what? I have another job, and I walk to work every time.
There you go.
Yep.
All right, Michelle Ray, thanks for the update this morning.
Absolutely.
Well, you'll want to be extra careful if you need to burn anything. Wisconsin officials are requiring you now, if you live in 13 counties, to obtain a burn permit. That order took effect at midnight, so areas like Sauk County, Columbia County, Richland, part of Dane County, and Iowa County too are all affected. So you're going to need an annual DNR burn permit if you're burning in a barrel, a debris pile, or in grass or the woods. You do not need a permit though for campfires intended for cooking or warmth. The agency is warning people to avoid starting fires during the day.
Let's check in now with meteorologist Savannah Brito, who's here now with that drought monitor. How's it looking?
Yeah, so we did see a little bit of a change between last week and the week prior. This did come out last Thursday. The Dells has been under a moderate drought or included in that for the last several weeks, but that actually expanded further west and then also northward too. Now Camp Douglas, south of Watoma, and then just southwest of Fond du Lac included in that too. Platteville, Monroe, south of Janesville, Watertown areas, those have stayed steadily under that moderate drought too. Now the entire state is sitting abnormally dry. We don't have a lot of rain chances going forward either. It's a cool start. Most of us down to the mid-30s early this morning. Very breezy too, at least later in the day. Those winds are going to gust up to about 20 to even 25 miles per hour. Any chances of showers early and even up till lunchtime, pretty much staying towards Milwaukee, Waukesha, Sheboygan, Kenosha. There could even be some pockets of heavier showers. You see those yellows on radar. That'll take us till about lunchtime, and then most of that even further east over Lake Michigan at that point in time. Temperatures will likely rise right around the 50-degree mark. I do think between 2 and 4 p.m. we won't have a wind chill factored in. Outside of that time frame, we will see a wind chill factored in the rest of today. So yeah, temperatures are going to be about 10, close to 15 degrees below average, especially those places that only achieve daytime highs in the upper 40s. That's likely across some of the area. Chilly, breezy. Around lunchtime, we'll be in the upper 40s, and that's for the most part where we will hold, but I do think we'll still make it up to that 50-degree mark in Madison later today. Check out how many states across the Midwest and just to our south were placed under a freeze warning. That for us will go in effect 1 to 9 p.m. or 1 to 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. The places just to our northwest that are not included in that, they've already seen that last week, a few days. That's why those aren't. But everyone else across Madison's coverage area are, and northern Illinois too. Air temperatures, those are actually going to get down, likely in those mid to upper 20s, but the wind chill, when that's factored in, check out how low our numbers are going to go. Teens for a couple areas and likely the lower 20s. Those are not air temperatures. With the wind chill factored in, that's what it'll feel like out there. So really cold. You'll want to pull those winter coats out, but check it out, 70s by the weekend.
All right, Savannah, thank you. In the 608 this morning, we have an update for our Coats for Kids campaign. We're getting all the donation numbers in, and we got an update this morning.
Yes, we do. Josh Breiter here in the studio with what comes next. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. First off, a huge thank you to everyone who contributed to this year's Coats for Kids collection. We know our weather can change from summer to winter in an instant, and when it does, we want to make sure everyone has a warm coat in their closet. Although we haven't received our grand total from this campaign yet, our current tally from all Clinky Cleaners locations stands at 2,918. That includes an additional 115 coats purchased on our Amazon wish list. We still have tabulations pending though, and hope to announce our final grand total for this year's campaign on distribution day next Friday, October 25th. So for those who need a warm coat to wear this winter, this is happening from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. on the 25th at the following Boys and Girls Clubs locations: the Allied Family Center in Fitchburg, along with the Erica and Anthony Fleming Boys and Girls Club in Madison, and the Mackenzie Family Boys and Girls Club in Sun Prairie. If you are interested in lending a helping hand on Distribution Day next Friday, the Boys and Girls Clubs would be happy to have you. You can sign up for a shift right now. I have the contact information and links for volunteers, along with this other info right now on channel3000.com. So this was our 39th year for Coats for Kids. Over the last almost 4 decades now, we've collected more than 355,000 donations from you at home. And we want to once again thank our sponsors, Clinky Cleaners, the Boys and Girls Clubs of Dane County, and Magic 98 for helping make it yet another successful year. It takes a village, right? And we need all the community partners to come together, but our viewers are just so generous every single year.
Yes, take some of that burden off of these families' backs, and so kids can be warm this year.
Well, and we know, I mean, like, it snapped our fingers the last week, and look at Savannah's forecast. It's like, we need those coats. I've had to like kind of dig out of the closet, like looking for the hats, the mittens, the scarf, all that stuff that we haven't had to deal with for a while.
Yes, the sweatpants for after work, all of that
Do you
stuff.
have the snow pants yet?
No snow pants yet. I'm not going to worry about that right now until I see some flakes on the forecast.
They're too late.
We have been giving you a heads up for weeks.
It's okay.
I think it's like every other day, either Stanford or I are like, so did you get those snow pants yet?
Denial. That's the first step.
How great would it be if a local business or organization out there gave us a big donation to get us across the finish line?
We need
Wouldn't that be amazing?
2,000 yet. So yeah, our goal, if you remember, was 5,000 coats. And usually we make it. This year we're a little shy, so we could use a little help if someone out there wants to help us make it happen. Again, all of that information is up on channel3000.com. You can still donate if you want. We'll accept it.
All right, Josh, thank you.
You bet.
Josh is always looking for inspiration to share with you folks. You have an idea for In the 608, reach out and let them know about it.
Well, up next in the morning, Sprint, the popular hardware chain that's going bankrupt.
If you got a little kiddo turning 3 soon, send us a picture. We'll show it on TV.
Sponsored by Three Bears Resort, Indoor Water Park and Conference Center in Warrens, Wisconsin.
He murdered a father of 3, sentenced to life in prison. Kamala Harris pushed to use tax dollars to pay for his sex change.
I made sure that they changed the policy so that every transgender inmate would have access.
It sounds insane because it is insane. Kamala was the first to help pay for a prisoner's sex change.
The power that I had, I used it in a way that was about pushing for the movement, frankly, and the agenda.
Kamala's agenda is they, them, not you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Stanton Optical believes eye care should be affordable. Right now, for only $135, you get 2 pairs of progressives, plus all this. All that costs over $200 everywhere else. Book your eye exam today. Stanton Optical, easy's our thing. Welcome to Too Good to Guess. Can you guess how much 2 pairs of progressives, a free eye exam, and anti-glare lens upgrade will cost at Stanton Optical? Only $135? Wow, a deal so good, every customer wins. Book your eye exam at Stanton Optical today.
Prices are up, wages are down, inflation is crushing Wisconsin families. Yet Sarah Kieski, she supports lifting revenue limits, allowing property tax rates to skyrocket unchecked. Even more radical, Kieski's backers want to ban natural gas to heat our homes, driving utility bills through the roof. Tax hikes and higher prices for families and those living on fixed incomes. That's Kieski's record. Expensive and extreme. Reject Sarah Kieski and her radical agenda.
Are you tired of the constant pain, numbness, tingling, and the poor balance caused by peripheral neuropathy? At Midwest Spine and Nerve Center, we help patients just like you with our non-invasive treatment options designed to reduce pain and improve balance and function without the need for drugs or surgery. Our personalized approach focuses on treating those symptoms and giving you back the life you deserve. Experience the benefits of a treatment plan designed to restore your quality of life. Call to schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Peter Barca dishonored our service and America's commitment to veterans.
And Congress, Barca voted to cut our benefits, impacting our lives, our families. It's just wrong.
It's just wrong.
Veterans can't trust career politicians like Peter Barca, and neither can you.
Brian Stile will always work to protect veterans like me.
Brian is not a career politician, he's a fighter, and he's always working for us.
I'm Brian Stile, and I approve this message.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
You heard him.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
What would Eric Hovde do in the Senate? Mitch McConnell and extremists would gain a majority, the power to ban abortion nationwide. No exceptions for rape or incest. Criminal penalties for doctors. More extreme anti-abortion judges on the courts.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
Eric Hovde, what's wrong with this guy?
You just have to get on the yellow seat. Think Sloan's first.
6:54, time for the morning sprint.
Vice President Kamala Harris will be back in Wisconsin this week. The presidential candidate is expected to speak in Milwaukee, La Crosse, and Green Bay on Thursday. The campaign has not released specific details. This is her 6th visit to Wisconsin since becoming the presidential nominee.
Meanwhile, Donald Trump is headed to the Midwest. He'll take part in an interview with Bloomberg News in Chicago. He'll then hold a rally in Atlanta this evening. His visit today is expected to focus on the economy and inflation. Campaign surrogates will visit Nevada and North Carolina.
The deadline for online and mail voter registration is fast approaching. Officials say registration is slightly down from this time 4 years ago. As of October 1st, Wisconsin has just under 1% fewer registered voters. The last day to register to vote online and by mail is tomorrow. You can still register when you vote in person.
President Biden calling for more disaster aid to address the recent hurricane damage. It comes after he announced hundreds of millions of dollars of aid during a recent visit to St. Petersburg Beach. For the new aid, Congress would have to return from its recess. Speaker Mike Johnson, though, says he does not intend to call representatives in.
Meanwhile, FEMA is resuming its work. This is after pausing aid in several impacted areas because of threats to its employees. Local law enforcement arrested someone for allegedly threatening workers. That person is now free on a $10,000 bond. It comes amid a backdrop of misinformation about storm responses.
True Value is declaring bankruptcy. The national hardware retailer says it'll sell itself to competitor Do It Best. The bankruptcy will allow the company to pay employees until the sale's completed. Individual True Value stores are independently owned and therefore not part of the bankruptcy. True Value hopes to complete the sale by the end of the year.
Wisconsin officials are requiring people in 13 counties to obtain a burning permit as dry conditions continue. The order took effect at midnight. Counties like Sauk, Columbia, Richland, and portions of Dane and Iowa counties are affected. You'll need an annual DNR permit for burning in a barrel, debris pile, and in grass or wooded areas.
And temperatures will be on the cooler side again. Will be about 10, maybe even 15 degrees for those people that do not make it up to the 50-degree mark below average. 29 tonight. We'll have a freeze warning going into effect at 1 a.m. through 9 a.m. or through 8 a.m. until 9 a.m. Temperature is going to drop in the upper 20s, but wind chills get down to the teens in some areas.
October 15th, and we already have those freeze warnings.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. We're in Wisconsin.
Exactly.
Still sad about it, though.
Yeah, same.
Thanks for watching, folks. We're back in 30 minutes.